welcome to the Gamers Table. It is Monday, and we're reviewing Conan, the strategy board game.
Age of Conan.
Age of Conan, strategy board game.
Oh, by the way, before we forget, this coming March 30th, Saturday, is Tabletop Day. Look it up. Check out Will Wheaton Show. You'll know what I mean.
Right, we got here the Age of Conan, the Sumerian. Welcome to the world of Conan, the barbarian hero created by Robert E. Howard. Age of Conan is a strategy board game that lets each player control one of the four major kingdoms of the Hyborian Age. Players fight with armies, sorcery, and intrigue to conquer their enemies and make their kingdoms the most powerful in the world. However, only one will win the allegiance of the mightiest hero of all, Conan the Sumerian.
This game is alright. It's not a terribly exciting game. It's fairly slow moving. So this is plays up to 4 player. You could play it with as little as 3 people, which we did. And each of the different kingdoms have their own different kingdom deck for a little extra flavor, so that they don't all play exactly the same way.
It's a decent game, decent area control game. There's other things you can do to mess around with people or make money, but it's really about area control and combat.
So you start this game by doing what you always do with a fantasy fight game. Sort out the 5 million chits and the 4 million decks of cards into all their different types. Then give people some of this and some of that and some of this and some of that and one of those and 2 of those, unless you're here in case you only get 3 of those.
I don't think there's really that much stuff.
Compared to put your pieces on the board and go.
Or deal 5 cards to everybody to play. The first age is just try to get the best start possible. Second age, you're starting to bump into more of the other players. In third age, it's all out mayhem, trying to crown Conan, attacking each other.
Once you've got everything there, you bid to decide who is going to be Conan for the first. You're not really, you don't get a muscle suit or anything. You just get the little Conan figure. You're the only one who is allowed to move him around. And you set out a set of 4 adventures. There will be 3 ages, each having up to 4 adventures. The third age could be a lot less, depending on how it goes. But you set them out, flip the first one over, put out as many of these funky tokens, women, monsters, and treasure. Mm-hmm. And
right along here.
When you move Conan towards or away or anywhere on the board.
Do we have him out? Where is he? He's in there somewhere.
That's right there.
Oh, there he is.
You will take one of those tokens off one end to the other, depending on who it is. And once all these tokens have disappeared, that adventure has been completed. If the Conan player has managed to get the Conan figure to where the obelisk is, he will get to pick an extra one of these little tokens to add to his pile.
A bonus unknown one, which can be really handy.
Yeah. If not, he won't get that. But in any case, the adventure's over, and then there will be another round of bidding, which, if we didn't mention it, and I didn't, is you will all get one of these strategy cards. You will use this top corner number plus one of your tokens, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 0, and those together are your bid. The highest bid will get Conan. In the case of a tie, the person with the least of the adventure tokens will be able to claim Conan.
Yeah, they work similar to like a lot of the player order tokens that you get in a lot of other games, where once you've used them, you don't get them back until you use a specific number, which in this case is the 0. But once you've used the 0, you don't get it back again, but you get what tokens you've used up already and use them again. But
you always get your 3 token back, regardless.
Yeah, the 3 is the one you always get back.
So these cards have a lot of information on them. Up in the top, they got a picture of Conan with the number, so you can see that's the bid token. Look, Conan there.
Conan.
And beside that, you've got a symbol that appears on the combat dice. The center section that shows the intrigue symbol shows which parts of the world you can use this card to add to your thing. And at the bottom, showing the military symbol, also has the icons of the hills, the mountains, the plains, and the forest. And you can use this card in any one of those in a military action. So the cards have a lot of different functions on them, and once you get an idea of where they are, it sort of makes it a lot easier, but they can be a little confusing to start off.
There's a lot of things confusing about this game starting it off.
Yeah, a little bit. If you haven't played it in a while, too, you're going to be looking stuff up a lot, too, I suppose. But most of it's on these handy-dandy reference sheets, which are, for the most part, fairly clear. There's the odd time you're going to be looking stuff up again in the rule book, like, most fantasy flight games.
The best thing I like about this game is the purple dice that you roll. That you, on your turn, you pick one, and it represents what you can do on your turn. But it adds a whole element of strategy. Like, all right, there's only one combat dice. I don't really want to do combat, but at the same time, I don't want anybody else to do combat because I don't want them to attack me. So I'm just going to take the last combat dice, and now I'm safe from them attacking me. Keep in mind, there's always court cards that you can play that, like I know the side I was playing, that would allow you to start a battle with that card. So I mean, there's ways around it, but I think the blue dice are definitely an advantage in this game as far as to give it more of a strategic edge.
That's how you decide what action you're going to take on your turn. And then you go to the handy-dandy reference book, and each one of those actions has several points, and you may do any one of those points. I know it's a bunch of tick marks and looks like you can do this in order. No, you must choose one of those things to do.
There's a bit of a memory factor trying to remember who's got the most of what type of tokens. Because between the ages, you are bidding on the different artifacts. You could show as many or as little of the types of whichever type of artifact you want. Like you could get the artifact for the women with just the one woman if nobody else chooses to take that particular, to show that particular type of token.
It is possible for two people to bid on for the same type, and one have more for the adventure tokens, and the other guy won't get it. Whoever had the most will get it.
And you don't get a consolation prize of the other one. If you bid on one and you don't get it, you end up with nothing.
Well, that's the one you went for, sorry, you didn't get it.
Yeah. But also in the second and third age, when they start, the player who's got the least victory points, empire points,
in a 3-player game.
Yeah.
In a 4-player game, whoever didn't get the artifact would start off with the Conan bonus.
But they get what is called the Conan bonus card. And all it allows you to do is, when you're doing the bid for Conan, you can play whatever strategy card you want, whatever number, wait to see what everybody else does, and then perhaps play a different card and change it. So the theme, Conan. And the countries are there. You're doing some fighting. But Conan's adventures are you moving him from one place to another and picking up tokens. You're not doing, the whole Conan stories were not armies. Conan was like Conan fighting against evil sorcerers. Conan doing this, Conan doing that. I give Age of Conan, the strategy board game, a 5.
Personally, I'm not a huge fan of it. There are other area control games I'd much rather play than this, but it's got enough options and variety in it, I think. Different ways to win. That makes it interesting. It is fairly long, but there was a lot of other games we played that are fairly long that we enjoy quite a bit too. So I'm not going to for area control and things like that. It's comparable to other ones, so I'm not going to quibble about that too much. As far as the mechanics and everything go, it's pretty equal for everybody. It seems to work pretty well. Everything's fairly well explained. The little hint books here and stuff like that are fairly clear. There's always going to be something maybe you want to just double check in here, but it's pretty good. The objectives up here, I found some of them are a little favorable for Central Iberia, but that is a big area to take care of too, and it forces people to combat, really, to fight over those objectives. So the game's kind of forcing you into the combat situation, so you're not just sitting off in your own little corner of the world or whatever and doing whatever. You can't do everything, but you have to do a little bit of everything, really, to do fairly well in this game. If you're going for a lot of cards all the time, you're not really going after anyone. You're building up your defenses or maybe getting bonuses, but if you're not on the march, you're not really getting anywhere either. This really does force you into combat. But overall, it's not that bad. I'll give it a 7.
So I don't mind this game. It's a little slow, though, I find. Thematically, it makes sense that the battles take a long time, but you don't want to waste another turn. So you just want to force march and go. Come on, let's conquer this stuff. Let's go. But you can't so much because you just overextend yourself. You have no armies. So it's a little frustrating that way. The kingdom cards, you don't even come close to really touching this so much. Even if you're buying a crap load of them at the end of the age. Conan just seems like to be a side plot in this game. It's more about area control. This game crams you together. It's a 4-player game, and the map is really not that big when you think about it. And when you play a 3-player game, you have to eliminate entire colors. So the game wants you to fight. I give Age of Conan a 6.5.
So that's it for this episode of the Gamers Table. Tune in next week where we review another game.
And hopefully no impersonations of celebrities. Anyway.
Stop if the game has had the most victory points.
Yes, you want to be the most powerful in the world. Points. Conquer everything.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for man.